The horsemen of the apocalypse have ravaged the earth and laid it to ruin. Conquest, war, famine, and death are not far off unknowns, but the reality in which the peoples of this world must contend daily. The oceans have become seas of blood, poison, and dust. What was once a lush and nurturing world has become the plain of Armageddon. It is the end of times in the world of Apocalisse. Hey friends, it's Matt with Bowls, and today we are talking about Apocalisse, a new setting built on the 5e tabletop RPG system. It is a spiritual successor to the Inferno system, both of which were designed by the same team. But while Apocalisse is something of an expansion to Inferno, you don't need to have played it in order to play through Apocalisse. But if you have, they integrate seamlessly with a narrative connection linking the two. So you can expect the same level of excellence in game and art design and production quality. And the art is excellent. Each illustration is just dripping with distinctive character and identity that fits perfectly into the tone of the setting. Speaking of which, Apocalisse is set on an Earth that has been decimated by the end of days, the day of judgment, the day of reckoning, the apocalypse, whatever you want to call it. The design team themselves describe it as Mad Max Fury Road meets Berserk meets Fist of the North Star, so make of that what you will. The narrative of the world of Apocalisse is set mostly on the war between the Throne, the Abyss, and Babylonia. Players will have to choose with which faction they will align themselves. The leader of the Throne is Metatron, the voice of God, a high angel who commands the Seraphim and the Penitent, those who have accepted the mark of the Lord. The Throne seeks to favor the end times and see the divine plan to its conclusion. The Abyss is ruled by Satanas, the Beast, a seven-headed dragon who commands its followers through the Dark Prophet. Their goal is to thwart the Throne's plan and be the ones who will decide who remains after the final battle. Finally, Babylonia stands as a tower reaching high into the sky as a challenge to both the Lord's fury and to that of the brutality of the Beast. Many of the residents of Babylonia merely wish to survive in this harsh and unforgiving world they find themselves in. Story elements aside, Apocalisse adds new class archetypes, new races, new backgrounds, new monsters, new game mechanics, you name it. You could become a Bard of Revelation, a roaming preacher who can cry tears of blood in order to gain a glimpse of the future. Or perhaps you'd rather be a Wormwood Spectre, rogues who have learned the secrets of the tainted waters of Apocalisse, granting them the ability to summon noxious and obscuring fumes, perfect for setting up a knife in the back. There are currently 4 class archetypes in the Quick Start Guide, with even more planned for the full release, if they reach their Kickstarter stretch goals. In Apocalisse, you'll expect not just to see angels and demons battling it out, but a lot of the foundational structures they're based on. For example, players can gain the Mark of the Beast. Any mark the players gain will grant them powers to boost their rolls as needed. Characters with a mark who fail a check can spend a reaction to roll a mark dice and add it to their roll, potentially preventing the failed roll. Oh, well that's just bardic inspiration, you say. Hardly. Mark dice uses a mechanic often called exploding die. If the player rolls the highest value on the mark die, for example a 4 on a d4 or a 6 on a d6, then the player gets to roll an additional die and can also add that to their roll. And if that second die also rolls the highest value, they get to roll another, and maybe another, and maybe another, and add all of those to their final result. This sets up the chance for some potentially huge bonuses. However, any mark comes with a cost, and none more so than the Mark of the Beast. If a player ever rolls a 1 on a mark die, they suffer a fatal punishment. Don't worry, it's just a name, you don't actually die. There are multiple different marks, and each mark offers unique fatal punishments, as well as which sort of rolls the mark die can be applied to. Apocalisse also adds other mechanics, like sin and virtue, which add to your character, giving them a new chance for inspiration. If you're at all curious about testing the waters of Apocalisse, why not check out the Quick Start Guide and try it yourself? There are several pre-generated characters, so you can just jump right in. But as it is a fully integrated 5e system, you can also use your current 5e characters and see how well they might fare against Ariem, the angelic lion of the Seraphim. Considering all the monsters from Apocalisse are fully 5e compatible, why not drop one of the horsemen of the apocalypse into the lost mines of Phandelver and just see how that goes? Also, just to address any concerns some people might have about the nature of the setting, yes, it is very heavily influenced by Christian religious beliefs. But at no point does the setting try to influence or sway or convert anyone. There's no mention of Jesus or anything like that. And for the record, I was raised Jewish, and at no point while reading through the books did I feel like I was being proselytized to or anything. Although to be fair, a lot of the references did go over my head. I still don't really know what a seraphim is, but it did not make reading through these books any less enjoyable. So even if the source material is not particularly your vibe, you can still absolutely enjoy Apocalisse. Anyway, Apocalisse is currently running a crowdfunding campaign over on Kickstarter. You can check out the campaign setting guide, custom designed character sheets, monsters manual with over 100 brand new monsters, with fully 5e compatible monsters, and an art book written in Latin text, just for that extra little touch. There are a ton of stretch goals planned, like new archetypes and monsters, and also a ton of resources to check out on the system before you pledge. Links for that in the description. So if all of that sounds interesting, please go check out Apocalisse. Again, I'm Matt with Bowls. Thanks for watching. Bye.